All right, welcome in. Happy Thursday. My goodness, what a night of craziness it was at Madison Square Garden. We've got an all-important Game 5 in the NHL. We got the start of the World Cup. We got afternoon baseball. I mean, my goodness, we got a little something for everybody here. And we get to break it all down with our good friends, Art DeCesar in the house, Carmine Bianco here, ready to go, no doubt. He has buffed his soccer balls, and he is ready to roll here as see? There he goes.
Oh, there we go.
He's got a little something there. I don't know what that was, and I don't want to know.
That was the World Cup, man. Come on.
There it is.
Yeah.
Seems like it would have been a little bit bigger. Never mind here. Art, always a pleasure, my man, over at the Westgate. Big question. How did the books do last night with... I mean, they didn't cover, right? The next they won, but they didn't cover. So how did it go for you guys last night?
You know, it's funny. It was a small winning day for us, but it would have been an enormous day with all the Nick money line stuff that we could have knocked out. Spurs end up blowing basically a 30-point lead. I believe it was as high as 29. But then the Knicks only win by 1, and then Spurs +2 cashes.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was one of those where normally you wouldn't think a game landing on 1 would be bad, but it was. So, you know, it could have been a really, really great night. It was not. It was still a small winning night, but man, the Knicks really screwed us.
Oh yeah, they screwed a lot of people. But I think more than anything else, it was the San Antonio Spurs that screwed over a lot of people. How that game stayed under, I have no idea. It helps when you only have 30 points in the second half. But we do have plenty going on here today. We'll talk some, obviously, World Cup coming up, the all-important Game 5 in the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. So, Art, as far as the sharp bets go, let's start with tonight's NHL game. What are you seeing? What are you hearing, man?
So, you know, as we talked about yesterday, you know, we're dealing that 10-cent line, so -150, +140 on the take back. You know, the total has been moved to 6 over 15 now, where, you know, the last game was 6 under 20. Public seems to be on the over. No shock there. All these games go over. So now the public is, you know, piling on, where they might be a little late to the party, but they are here. We'll need the under in the game. Side is really going to be a toss-up once again, unless someone comes in late and takes something big on one of these sides, because we're basically dealing the best line on both sides, whether you want to lay the favorite at $1.50 or take the Knights at +140. You know, future-wise, we're set up pretty well, so this is just going to be one of those games where I think we'll see really good two-way action.
Carm, you shocked it's at 6 here now across the board, or you think it gets pushed up here?
No, I think it's going to stay at a flat 6. I know some books that like to deal the half line will have like 6.5s on this one, but I can see it. They're basically replicating the opening game 1 line, like the -155-ish, +130-ish. But that total was 5.5 across just about every book. Goalies haven't done anything in this series. You know, Carter Hart hasn't done anything. And even with Bushi coming in, they still solved him. Freddie Anderson wasn't even the backup in the game. Kochetkov was the backup in that game. So they gave him some rest. He's been off 3 to 4 days. The question remains for that game, Joe, does Brindamore go back to Freddie Anderson?
I don't know how. Is Aiden Hill coming in, Art? That's the next question we've got to ask ourselves here. My goodness. All right, so you're holding strong pretty much just like what we saw early on in games 1 and 2 at Carolina, priced around the same. Talk to me here about the WNBA here. I think, we got 4 games tonight, Art? What are you seeing?
We do. The only thing really to report sharp-wise is they laid 5.5 with the Wings overnight. We're now 7 on that game.
That's a lot of fun, that one, that Dallas team, by the way. How about Major League Baseball, some afternoon games? I know the Mets are scheduled to play, but nobody is going to be backing them anytime soon. What do you got sharp-wise from Major League Baseball?
two sharp things to report. And the Mets number absolutely went up this morning, but we actually didn't take sharp money on that. Just we moved with the market on that. So the two sharp teams this morning or this afternoon for the MLB are the Mariners and the Rangers.
Mariners and, by the way, I mean, like 21-mile-an-hour winds blowing straight out of Kauffman Stadium. So that means maybe the Royals will get 2 runs in that game. And we called it yesterday, Carm, by the way. Scherzer on the mound for Toronto was a lot of fun to watch. Glad he came back and got lit up like a Christmas tree. Happy for that. College baseball World Series, Art, also getting ready to go. What are you seeing so far at the book there?
Yeah, so as far as tomorrow, with the game lines basically going up later today or early tomorrow morning, we'll be able to touch more on the games. Just wanted to touch on the futures. We're set up actually pretty well on the 8 remaining teams. The one team we do lose a little bit on is the favorite, Texas, but they have a really hard game to open in a double elimination tournament. They're playing Georgia. Georgia's the second favorite. So we want to avoid Texas. All other teams we do well on.
All right, there you go there. College World Series, Major League Baseball, WNBA, NHL. And are you seeing, did anything come in on early for the NBA game? Or are you pretty much in line right now with, again, what we saw in Game 2 there, I believe, in San Antonio, right around the same price?
Yeah, we opened Spurs 5 and 216. And, with a couple of days off, obviously, it will take a couple of days really for the bets to come in. Not saying that we won't see money come in today, but they got a couple of days to kind of break down this game, handicap this game, and see which way they're going to go. I wouldn't be shocked if you see a ton of public people on the Knicks money line.
Right.
I think you're going to see that, but a couple of days to kind of see where that is. We'll touch base on that game again tomorrow.
All right, then talk to me about the World Cup because it's getting ready to get started here, and wondering if you have seen any sort of sharp money coming in.
Yeah, once again, Mexico, they laid the goal. It was -110. We're now up to -145. We were as low as 210 on Mexico, now 260. A lot of money line parlays that have Mexico involved with not only, games going down all the way through Sunday, but with baseball today and the hockey. So if Mexico could ever lose outright, that'd be really good for us. They're big in their group A. They were -115 on the open. We're now dealing -150. And then the other 2 host countries took money. USA at +140 to win their group, and Canada at 2-1 to win their group. And the one thing we've seen for like one of our prop markets, Julian Alvarez plays for Argentina. We've seen a lot of money come in on him. He's still pretty high at 25-1 for most goals, but he's the guy we want to avoid having the most goals. He would be our big loser.
Let me ask you, do you get any of those like we do in the NHL, like anytime scorers? You got those in the World Cup? Have you seen any there in the game where this guy's going to score a goal? I mean, those numbers got to be pretty interesting here for those anytime goal scorers.
They are. For us, though, we really only do the USA games. It's just hard to price all the games.
Woo.
So, anytime USA. Now, listen, I'm not saying down the road if there's a big matchup and it's 2 huge countries, I don't even know if this could happen, but if it was like Spain, Brazil, and they played in a game, of course, we would try to do something like that. But right now, most of our secondary content is like USA stuff.
Love it. All right, Art the Caesar. Before we get you out of here, of course, we have to make up for that parlay of the day yesterday where the Mets did just an outstanding job of getting their ass handed to them. So, Art, kick us off for the parlay of the day. Where are you looking here?
I'm going Tigers. Tigers at home. Ooh. I think they get it done today against the Twins. I don't love it, but, you're in like the -125, -130 range. Give me the Tigers at home.
Listen, Montero's been better than the people realize there for Detroit. And they finally got healthy. They're scoring runs. Harm, you got a lot of different places to go here on the board. World Cup, NHL, what are you looking at?
Let's go to, even though I would do an NHL one, let's go to the Mexico game. It's at 3 p.m. And let's go with a goal scorer prop since you mentioned it. Santiago Jimenez, +160 anytime goal. Plays for AC Milan in Italy's Serie A, and got pretty good towards the end of the season, and maybe carries that over for the national team in today's game at Stadio Azteca. Joe, by the way, the over-under on Modelo Especials consumed at Azteca is 133,000 beers today.
Okay.
But that stadium does hold 87,523, so it's been renovated. So over 133,000 Modelo Especials consumed.
I like that. And that's pregame. That's before it actually starts there. I am going to go Major League Baseball here, and I don't see any reason why we shouldn't keep fading Merrill Kelly here of the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're about to get swept by Miami, and I think they will do that. Miami is crushing it. So I'm going with the Marlins here today. Art, we will see you tomorrow, my friend. More information, more going on. Enjoy the day, Art. Always a pleasure. Thanks for swinging by here as the best betting show ever continues. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button here, as Carm and I got a lot to break down here about what is coming up throughout the day. And Carm, let's start with this NHL game here tonight. Your thoughts? I mean, you said it, right? The market's kind of reverted back to what we got in game one, game two. We are starting to see the total tick up here a little bit, but you had mentioned it yesterday, right? Vegas, they've been really good on the road. So, it feels like, what is home ice worth? Is it worth minus 160? Should it be? Or should these two teams be closer to minus 120?
Like 161 is insane, I think, for that price in this series where neither team, I think Carolina's been the better team, but they haven't shown it as far as final score lines. Every game has been close. You look at time of possession. I think the Vegas Golden Knights have had not time of possession, but time with the lead. Vegas has had it's almost a 60-minute edge. They've had the lead for like something like 90 plus minutes, and Carolina's only held the lead in this series in about 27 to 28 minutes. So there's a big disparity there. But the Canes have found a way of coming back in games and winning, and the 2-goal lead hasn't been safe. It would not surprise me if the Vegas Golden Knights win this game and send it back. We talked about like the series, and it's not a handicapping angle. I'll always repeat that, the zigzag in this series, and it's gone Vegas, Carolina, and you would think it's just that Vegas during the regular season were a much better road team than they were at home, and in the playoffs they've been a very good road team as well too. As I mentioned, they in the opening couple of series they were able to win on the road, but then I think the one that really stands out is the fact that they went into Colorado and swept them, but won games 1 and 2. In that series. So, with that said, they know they can win in Carolina. They did it for game 1. They almost did it for game 2. And this would be a much different series had they held on to that lead in game 2. So we'll see where it goes here. But I think the value right now lies with Vegas tonight at plus 130, plus 132.
Interesting stuff here, certainly in the predictive markets here, which we'll dive into quick here, Carm, because Stahl all of a sudden has got 5 goals in 4 games now for Carolina, and boy, oh boy, Conn Smythe, like what are the chances? We're all going and struggling trying to. We all know Marner, right? If Vegas wins it, but is he a clear runaway even if Carolina wins it here? That's the interesting thing.
Not anymore. I looked at the markets this morning, and Marner from minus 210 prior to game 4 is now minus 105 to win the Conn Smythe. Taylor Hall and Logan Stankoven are both at about plus 380 to win. And I think it's likely because obviously the Canes winning game 4. They're now at home. They have a home ice, and maybe the money is coming in on, hey, Canes are going to win the series. That's what they're thinking. And it's going to be a Canes player. Who could it be? They're, as I mentioned before, Carolina's 10-0 when Stankoven scores. Try and get him a goal tonight, if you want to win that game. But Taylor Hall has been playing extremely well as well too. If the Canes are to win tonight, you're going to see a much lower price on both of those guys. So you have to decide which of the two. If you believe Carolina is going to win the series, I think at this point now you have to take one of those plus 380s, unless you're loving the buy low price on Mitch Marner and figuring that Vegas wins tonight, and you're getting him at minus 105, because that minus 105 if Vegas wins tonight on Mitch Marner goes to about minus 250.
Changes in a big way, doesn't it? Yeah, it changes in a really, really big way. That is for sure there. And by the way, again, Vegas still right around Carm. I believe when we last checked there, they still hovering around that 38, 39 cent, actually 42, 43 cent mark. If you still like Vegas to win everything, now might be a good time, because if they pull out the win and go up 3-2, yeah, you're not going to get them at that price anymore at this time here. Now, we do want to take in, because I know you're going to talk about one of the groups coming up in the rundown, in fact, for Canada, and I believe that is Group B, which is going to be interesting, but nothing else has changed much here except, and I don't know how you go about this market when it comes to the World Cup quarterfinal qualifiers, because you talked about the semifinal guys, right, Carm? We talked about them earlier in the week, but this pool is much greater, obviously, of people that are going to be able to actually qualify there. And I'm wondering, some of these prices feel like, all right, everybody looks to be about 50 cents, but this is a huge market here with some of these guys. And the quarterfinalists put them where now? So they got to win how many to get into the quarterfinals here, Carm?
2 rounds.
That's it.
Obviously, the round of 32, the round of 16, and then they're into the quarterfinals. And they don't need to win the quarterfinals; they just need to get there. So when you look at a team like Spain, who are like the unicorn, as I called them the other day, because they just beat you so many different ways and they score goals. They're minus 155. Now, you would think, why do I want to lay 155? That's actually a great price on Spain to reach the quarterfinals, because they're going to get there. No injuries on this team, playing extremely well. Lamine Yamal, they've kept him out of the friendlies as he was originally nursing an injury, but he's part of the team. They're playing extremely well. I just don't see who can upset them when I look at the way the brackets work out. I just don't see where they drop a game. France, a little different. France wins their group. They're minus 135, France.
Right.
In the market. But France, minus 135. They likely would face, in the round of 16, Germany for a spot in the quarterfinals. That is a tougher one for them. England, I think England makes a run again, a deeper run. Getting to the quarterfinals at the very least is something that should happen with them, and they're minus 135. So I would say Spain and England, even though you're laying some vig on them, those are plays that you want to take.
And the reason I love this, Carm, and correct me if I'm wrong here, is I'm looking at this, is I can bet a whole bunch of these. Now, you're telling me I got to get 2, basically, right? I got to make it through two wins. So if Spain wins, they're at 60 cents now, and they only need one more win. Well, looks like I'm going to get value on that. I mean, Spain, France, England, Portugal, Argentina, Brazil. We're not breaking the bank. A lot of those are just over even money. What, is anybody here not making it, Carm? Let's approach it that way here of these teams.
Yeah, if you look at it, and we talked about like the Netherlands one. The Netherlands, it's that back line for them, and I get it. They have Virgil van Dijk, the big guy from Liverpool, on that back line, but they just haven't, even up front, they just haven't connected and been scoring goals. And I don't put too much stock in the friendlies, as I've mentioned before, but it's a good indication. And when guys are completely missing the net 5 feet or 10 feet in front of the goalie and they don't even get it on goal, it's troubling, because maybe that carries over. And their first game is against Japan. And if they were to somehow lose that game against Japan, they're still going to qualify because they'll still beat the teams like Sweden and Tunisia that are in that group. I would assume they would beat them and get into knockout stages. They only need 3 points, but now their path becomes so much tougher.
Right.
If for some reason they're favorites to win the group, if for some reason they were to end up third, they're going to play a team that that won their group. And you look at those ones above you, and those are all teams that are going to win their groups. Teams like Argentina, teams like Brazil, Spain, England. So you have to factor that into it. And it's just, there's too many, when you look at some of the variables, there's too many with regards to the Netherlands where I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel good about this. I wouldn't take them. I just wouldn't. The thing about Spain, as you mentioned, with Spain is Spain's going to win their group. They normally do. It's going to take a thing. So they are going to play a third place team, one of the 8 best third place teams. And they should be able to, if they can't beat one of the third place teams, then they don't belong in the World Cup. They're going to do it. So now you're 1 game away from cashing a ticket, and they're going to be prohibitive favorites in not only that round of 32 game, but the round of 16 game. And when I talk about prohibitive, they're going to be at least minus 200 to 250 and favored by like a goal or a goal and a half to beat a third place team, especially if they have a dominating group stage. So I think the Spain one and the England one are the ones that kind of stand out to me.
And all we need is because, Carm, they're going to reprice as soon as they win 1 game. I mean, they're going to reprice, and then you've at least got some options. You don't, so even if there is an upset to go on, you will have, and I think all of them are going to win some early games here. I mean, USA at 25 cents, right? So what is the path for Team USA to qualify for the quarterfinals? Who do they got to beat, you think?
If you give me 1 second, I have it right here for you. This is as far as like the brackets go, and these are the brackets that I came up with in looking at it. So assuming that the USA wins their group, they would play in the knockout stages. I have them playing in the knockout stages against
now, mind you,
USA. Where'd you go?
Yeah, Bosnia. This isn't actually just qualify. You don't have to win a quarterfinal game. You just got to qualify for it.
Yes, you just have to qualify for it. So the round of 32, they would face the third place team as the group winners, should they win the group. They would face the third place team from Group B, the group we're going to discuss. And that is likely to be Bosnia, because I think it'll be Switzerland, Canada, Bosnia, and then Qatar closing up in 4th place. So that puts them now into the round of 16, where they need to win that one to qualify for the quarterfinals. And there they would likely face South Korea, who are in action tonight against the Czechia, or the Czech Republic, as some will call them. So again, on home soil against South Korea. And that line,
if I get a couple of wins, they're going to be more than 25 cents, right? I mean, that to me is the way I'm looking at it. Not for them to actually, but can they win enough matches between now and the qualifying your quarterfinals to be higher than 25 cents? And if they win the group, that's half the battle, isn't it?
It is half the battle. You don't want to finish the second in that group. I don't think finishing second in that group is going to work out for them. They've got Turkey in that group, and a lot of people seem to be high on the Turkish team as well too. And if you look at Turkey's path, if Turkey finishes second in their group, they're likely to face Egypt in the round of 32. And if they were to win that one, this is where I think it gets a little tougher. In the next round, they are likely to face, they would face Argentina. And that's where it ends. So the USA does not want to finish second. Does not want to finish second and play Argentina. Lionel Messi and crew, the defending World Cup champions. If they play South Korea, that line will be essentially like a pick'em line on the two-way handicap, Joe, and then it'll be plus money across the board on the three-way, where it'll likely be one of those lines where you get South Korea at plus 155, the draw at plus 240, and the USA at plus 165. Somewhere along the lines there, which is essentially a pick 'em plus across the board in a game they feel is going to be tight. So win the group, US.
That's really all that matters there. And that's what we're talking about. Win that group, Carmen. We have got opportunities to cash out along the way, and they'll have an opportunity to do that. So you talked about the group. You're going to break it down coming up here. Group B, that's Canada. We got a couple of games here tonight, so let's talk a little bit and do a little bit of business. I know it's your favorite point in the show. Anytime I can throw the Prez in a leotard here, I know it's definitely exciting for the folks watching. What exactly here, Carm, do you have locked, loaded, and ready to go for the clients here?
Yeah, so 2 plays up in the World Cup for tonight, for today. One at 3, and then which is the kickoff, Mexico and South Africa, and then the South Korea and Czechia game, which is later on in the day. Of course, the NHL game 5, easy winner, game 4 with Carolina. But game 5, we have a best bet play up. You get that over at WagerTalk, and the 149 package, which gets you every single play in the World Cup from day 1, match day 1, which starts today, right through to the Cup Finals.
Gotta love it there, Carm. Also, Major League Baseball guys locked in. 2 plays today, one early and one later tonight. You can hop on over at WagerTalk.com, visit the page, take advantage of these promos they got going. I mean, the buy 3, get 3 heading into this weekend is huge, but never miss any of Carm's World Cup plays, guys. Jump on that 149 where you can do it. So, lot, and I mean a lot, Carmen. I believe the most bet on event. It kind of mirrors, I think, even more than March Madness because it's worldwide, right, Carm? I mean, it's not just here. I mean, there is more money bet on this sport than even cricket, from what I understand. The press tells me is the most bet sport in the world.
It's insane. The amount of money spent in a weekend of Premier League soccer is the same as what is bet on the Super Bowl. It is absolutely insane. I get it here in North America because, we watch the games and you see some guys flopping around and time wasting. And you're like, I hate this sport. But if you win a few bets, you start to love it. And they put in rules this year. We've already discussed it before, and there's a couple videos up on the WagerTalk site on how to bet the World Cup. New rules that are eliminating all that time wasting junk that we see. So hopefully we'll see some entertaining football, as we call it in Europe, right from match day 1 today up until the finals in July.
Can't wait, Carm. I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun to watch it get underway. But we do have a rundown because you mentioned, Carm, that, yes, Canada getting ready to go. Interesting group. I didn't hear you say they win the group. I think you said Bosnia, right? Was that where you were going there?
No.
What was it?
No, I am going to the game tomorrow. I will be there at the stadium watching Canada versus Bosnia on match day 1. But this price has me absolutely puzzled. I just can't figure it out. Switzerland is minus 135 to win the group. Switzerland's the best group best team in this group. Bosnia won't win this group. Qatar is not going to win this group, so it comes between Canada and Switzerland. And I know that Art said, some money on Canada came in. That's probably from the Canadians who are vacationing in Vegas at the moment. Listen, Switzerland's a very good team. They do well in these international tournaments. They didn't lose a single game in European qualifying, which is extremely tough to get out of. Only allowed 2 goals in their 6 games. They won the games by a 14-2 margin. They get to play all their games on the West Coast, a very little travel, Levi Stadium, SoFi, and then against Canada on match day 3 on the 24th of June. That will likely decide the group. But this Swiss team, Canada's got injuries. There's a couple players have been replaced. Alphonso Davies won't be playing in match day 1 tomorrow, and may not even play in match day 2. So it's a big loss for Canada. The Swiss team has they've got a rock on their shoulders, Joe. They want to go deep in this tournament, but there's the possibility that if they win this group, they will face at some point Portugal. And they got hit by a bug the last time. I went through the dressing room and knocked out a few players, and Portugal absolutely slaughtered them 6-1 on the field.
Wow.
They weren't that bad. They want some retribution, and the way to do it is to win the group. Minus 135 is, I think, a steal.
I'm looking at it here too in the predictive markets. I'm with you here, man. At 33, 32, 33 cents. I think we got, I think they're going to win enough. And it happens to be where they're going to take Bosnia at the game that you're heading to, right? Should not be a problem there, right? Shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Are we betting any ties, by the way? Is that a big bet for you in the World Cup?
Match day 3. I will tell you, people, match day 3, before you just click on a team because they're doing well in the group. Match day 3s are the toughest this time around. And I'll tell you why, is because there's 8 third place teams on match day 3, teams that know they've qualified can basically pick their path of which side of the bracket they want to be on. If they start resting players, which very well could happen, if they're fine with a draw, if they're fine with a loss on match day 3, because it puts them on the weaker side of the bracket, they're going to lose. So we're going to see some draws where teams just say, hey, I know they don't actually do it, but it's like a draw favors you, draw favors us.
Yep.
It happened in 2018. France played Denmark on the final match day. France, they needed a draw to win the group. Denmark needed a draw to win, to qualify in second place. And the game finished 0-0. The only game in which France did not score in the World Cup. I bet the draw. I told people to bet the draw, and that's going to happen on match day 3. Match day 3 is probably the day in which the match day in which you're going to see the most draws.
I love it. All right, so we got plenty going on here across the board in World Cup. Let's dive in to a few Major League Baseball games before we get out of here. And, of course, if you miss us here, guys, we will be on WagerTalk today coming up, both Carmine and I, breaking down the upcoming games. But let's talk a little Major League Baseball rundown. Afternoon games, Cubs and Rockies, Cabrera versus Feltner. Eventually, I guess the Cubs are going to win a game, but I'm not catching a falling knife here. Dodgers, a terrible loss yesterday, by the way, against the Pirates. Now they got Robleski on the mound. Mitch Keller, who, oh boy, he's been a bit of a gas can lately here. At home, 6:40 Eastern time on this one. Feels like we're going to get a nice bounce back for the Dodgers. I'd look on the run line there. That Pirates bullpen is atrocious. Mariners and the O's, Brian, taking on Bradish. You heard Art tell you Mariners are getting money. I agree with it. Likely also going to get a few runs in this game with the wind on a hot, humid night in Baltimore blowing out. And the Braves and White Sox, interestingly enough, are the Braves going to get swept? I don't think so. But they've got Perez going here today. Anthony Kay will be a bulk guy. I think the Braves will get at least one. And that is it, Carm. That is our MLB rundown on an abbreviated slate. But, guys, don't forget, Carmine's play is locked and loaded over at WagerTalk.com for the World Cup. I've got 2 Major League Baseball top plays locked and loaded. We'll also have up Saturdays NBA game number 5 play. You can head over there and get that as well. And Carm, are we going to see you tomorrow?
No, unfortunately I am leaving early because it's going to be, for lack of a better word, an absolute shit show downtown Toronto. Our great government decided to close off a bunch of roadways that lead to the stadium. So it's a disaster. Parking's a disaster. The ticket prices are a disaster. but I'm going to go
Brilliant.
down there and have a good time.
I love it. Go down there and have a good time. Carm, we appreciate it as always. Guys, make sure you visit Carmine over at WagerTalk.com. Make sure you check out WagerTalk today. We will both be there with a couple of best bets. Carm, always a pleasure. Enjoy the game, my man. We'll cash those tickets, then come back and join us for another edition of the best betting show ever. Good luck, guys.